my name is Buki. Welcome to another episode of Without Walls that promises to be spiritually insightful. And I'm hoping that you are going to have so many eureka moments as you watch this episode, because we're discussing a very important and interesting topic today. Wait for it. Don't worry, stay close. When we return, I'll introduce the topic and then you get to meet my guests on today's episode. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome back. This is still Without Walls, and the topic we're discussing today that we're going to throw the spotlight on is the sexual abstinence and purity issue. I think it's a conversation worth having, and it's long overdue. Why not? After all, the other church reports that the number of millennial Christians who actually believe in premarital sex went from 16% to 20% in 2016. Alarm bells ringing yet? Well, today I'm going to be discussing this issue with a very good friend of mine. His name is Olalekan Adesina, popularly known as LG, and he's my very good G. Okay, I'm trying to rhyme. Hi, Leko.
Hi.
How are you feeling? Oh, I forgot the pastor part. Even though behind the scenes he said, I don't know why. But you're a pastor, right? You're a youth pastor.
I'm a lead member of a youth parish.
I see. Someone is trying to be very modest here. Pastor G. Are you a pastor or not? It's a yes or no. Forget the English.
To Jesus be my glory.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Welcome, Pastor.
Yeah, welcome. Buki.
And thank you for doing this. Okay, so do you feel that sexual abstinence, purity is becoming unpopular? Because I've actually seen some arguments in favor of premarital sex lately, even on some supposed Christian websites. And I found it very disturbing. Like, how did you get to this point?
Well, the subject of sexual purity and abstinence is, okay, like you said, the ElGee Church report that you mentioned was in 2016.
That's right.
I think we need to pay attention to the fact that that percentage is on the increase. The rate of the increase is alarming.
Very.
So, whether we like it or not, even beyond the Christian faith, sexual abstinence is still celebrated. It is still seen as, oh, you're abstaining from sex. Okay, that is good. However, something is catching up with the faith, with the pillars of the faith as we know it, regardless of what faith you belong to. Something is really, really catching up. And it is this element of people being awake more than opening their eyes and being active and doing stuff. And then they say, oh, the word they said they've gone woke.
Thank you.
Okay, so wokeness is really catching up and almost overwhelming the pillars and the foundations of the faith as we know it. Because the point is, whatever it is the Christian faith has laid down, yeah, it is timeless, but something is coming for it, and the church needs to be aware that truly something is coming for those beliefs. So abstinence may not be very popular. It is still popular. Let's not cower under that fear. It is still popular. Okay. It may not be.
That's comforting, actually.
Yeah. I mean, let's say for what it is. It is still popular. It is still celebrated. However, we are very, very much aware that something is really, really coming for it. So because we are aware, that is why we are talking about this. Because whether we like it or not, anybody who is out there who sees the 27, 28-year-old up and coming young person who tells you, well, they are abstaining, there's a sense of reverence. There's a sense of, even from those that mock them and say, oh, you don't know what to do. They want to be like you.
Okay, so like that mocking you just mentioned, I mean, you waited till marriage.
Yeah, I did.
You are an abstinence ambassador. And I think that bringing you up as a guest here, I mean, being a guy, I'm actually even trying to make a statement and break a gender stereotype. I think that's very societal and cultural, that it's almost like people don't even expect guys to even do that at all. Like, okay, for ladies, okay, well, don't sleep around. But for guys, okay, it's okay, you know what they say, that men will always sow their wild oats. So for you, was this something you were shy to admit? Or were you proud to admit it because, okay, I mean, you're a guy, I mean, you're supposed to, be running things and all that stuff?
Okay, well, you see, the kind of life that you choose to live would determine the parameters that gives you validation. All right? So there was nothing to be shy
Put
about.
that in a quote.
Oh, please, go ahead. So there was nothing to be shy about. There was nothing to be proud of. Because it was just a subject of grace. It was just a subject of God holding you by the hand. Oh, are there rushes? Are there urges? Yes, there were. And hey, kudos to my wife. I mean, for both of us, we had the testing times. But of course, the principles were laid down. We had told ourselves, these are lines we don't want to cross. So even when we go close to those lines, when one is mad, the other is sane. You understand? So there's always somebody was always available to put the other person in check.
Okay, so when you say grace, it was about God holding your hand. So are you saying that? But you had to have done something too. You had to have played a particular role.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
So I don't want someone watching at home to feel like, okay, I'm just going to pray about this thing. I'm going to totally rely on God. Now, I'm not saying that. So is it that you just completely rely on God to help you along this journey of, trying to stay sexually pure and not defiling the marriage bed, or there are other factors that you have to drive?
All right. There are definitely parts as a human being. You see, there's a way I don't want to address this thing. What guys have to do, what ladies have to do. As a human being, you need to control your gates. You need to man your gates, because there's something that defeats, that breaks down our wall.
Sorry, gates.
Now, when I say you need to man your gates, when it comes to the topic we're talking about, we're going to be talking about the eye gates and the ear gates.
Okay.
All right? The eye gates and the ear gates.
Okay.
So what you look at will always come back to play in your mind. All right? And it goes from music videos, movies, video and audio content. All right? Even comic content that you see.
They are supposed to be harmless.
That are supposed to be harmless.
And innocent.
These days, they're supposed to be harmless and innocent. But unfortunately, they're not anymore. So for you to actually help yourself, the part you need to play, you see, you can't subject yourself that anything you see, you feed your eyes with, anything you listen to, and then you think your body would not cave in to that pressure that you're trying to fight. The enemy of our soul is fully aware. I see it as a battle strategy. There's something I learned about the Japanese during World War I or World War II. When they capture prisoners of war, they lie them down. They don't beat them or anything. Nah, they don't. They just lie them down over a huge bag of water that is dropping. Consistent dropping on their head. The water keeps dropping on their forehead. Tip, tip, tip. You see, after a few days, they bring that prisoner up. The prisoner has literally gone mad, because of the consistency of what is as harmless as a drop of water.
Wow.
That is the way. That is why I said man your gates. It looks harmless. It is just music. It is just a video, until the time where you're alone, and that is what your mind is filled with. But ideally, it could be direct sex. It could be opinions. It could be thought processes.
Indirect.
So already, even when you are the only one in your room, you are under sexual pressure. There's this one, nobody's mocking you.
Right.
For you. Nobody's mocking your abstinence. You are alone.
With your thoughts.
With your thoughts.
And your imagination.
And your imaginations. Believe me, nobody can feed your imagination like you can do. You are responsible for what your imagination is like. So that's why I said, man your gaze. Watch what you listen to. All right? Watch what you hear. What you hear, watch what you see, what you look at. Because when the show is over, the scenes will come back to play in your mind.
True.
There are sane people who are still holding up the sexual abstinence bit. All right? There's a whole lot of people. It reminds me of Elijah. When Elijah was, is it Elijah or Elisha now? Sorry, pardon me. When he was complaining to God and saying, oh, there are no prophets in this land. God, I'm tired. I'm the only one. I know what God said. Farabale, calm down. Calm down. I have preserved 7 or 12,000 prophets who have not bowed to Baal. It may look like you are the only one. You have a whole squad of people.
So I hope someone is actually getting an encouragement for this.
Really.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
Don't feel like you are the odd one out.
No, you're not odd. You're not odd. Because you're not with the crowd doesn't mean you're invalid. No, you're not invalid. You're not invalid. What you're doing is good, because I know very well that 1 Corinthians 6, 18 to 20 talks about our body being bought with a price. All right? Yeah. It talks about our body as a temple. It talks about our body as a house of God. And then in honoring that body, you have to play your part. You have to play your part. Now, you brought me back on the point when I said it was a subject of grace.
Yes.
And then you said, okay, what exactly did you do? This is what you do. If you are in a relationship, first off, draw your boundaries. See, you are not stupid to tell a guy that, this is the relationship, I love you, I like you. But you know what, we're not going to have sex. If he laughs at you, if he mocks you for that, walk away. Believe me.
It can be tough.
It can be tough. But before it gets too tough, ring it out loud. There is a reason. Now, this is it. If you're a normal guy, even hip-hop music stars don't try it. No matter their celebrity status, they don't try it. You're a popular guy. Now, I want to use a very practical example. Okay. You're a very popular guy. Mm-hmm. And then, in case you're watching anywhere, there's a place in Lagos, Nigeria, that we call Maryland, not in USA, in Lagos. I know there's a military barracks there. Okay. The moment you're coming from Sheraton Hotel, you're probably wearing a camouflage trousers. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're jogging, your effects, everything, you're jogging. If you're not a military person, the moment you are getting close to that Maryland barracks, will you not behave yourself and change accordingly?
You don't need an instruction manual.
You don't need an instruction manual. Why? Because the military is absolutely loud in Nigeria about civilians putting on their fatigues. Be loud about your position. The wrong people will run away from you.
That's right.
Be bold. Be bold about it. If you are loud about your position on sexual abstinence and purity, the wrong people will run away from you. Of course, you are being loud not by your strength. You're going to pray. God is going to help you. You're going to discern people who are being deceptive. But the first thing you need to do is understand that your body has been paid for as a price. Sex and all of these things, they are not a symbol of love. They are not a price that you have to pay for love. There's a quote I saw on social media. It says that if you think sex will keep him, my sister, think again.
You've made very, very good points. But one of the arguments, like I said, I've seen some arguments in favor of premarital sex. And one of such is that, how do you achieve intimacy in a relationship? You already know that, this relationship is leading to marriage. And it's not advised that you wait till you're married before you start trying to put an intimacy atmosphere in place. So how do you attain intimacy without sex? Is it possible?
Big question. You see, the word intimacy has been abused by, pardon me, I'm going to blame the media a lot. Unfortunately, the media is not someone's first name. And that is anybody's surname. All right?
We can't arrest anybody.
We can't arrest anybody for media crimes. Now, this is it. The word intimacy has been abused. All right? Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. Right. Nothing. If you're in a relationship and you need to secure intimacy, intimacy only means your walls are, there are no restrictions to the things you talk about. You have no fear. Now, when I say there are no restrictions, of course, there are things you will not talk about so that it doesn't lead you into what you don't want to get involved with. That's what I'm saying. However, when we say intimacy, you can build intimacy. Intimacy can be built. Intimacy is a subject of communication.
Not necessarily.
Not
So
necessarily
it's not physical.
No. Intimacy don't have to be physical. The reason why people forget and they mistake intimacy for physical tanglings is because they've not been loud about their positions. All right? You can be very intimate with someone. All right? You can be very intimate. As we're talking now, every one of us, guys, ladies, you can think of someone that you are close to, but you've never had sex with. You probably don't even see that person on a daily.
Sure, but whenever
That's
you
intimacy.
See, you pick up right.
Well, whenever you see the person, you pick it up.
That's right.
That's intimacy. You can talk to someone, you can open up about issues, you can relate with people, but understand at the back of your mind that intimacy that becomes physical is only valid in
marriage. Wow. Thank you so much. So but moving on, I'd like us to define what fornication is, the big word fornication. Because some of the arguments, like I said, I've seen is that I think someone even made reference to the fact that Jesus never actually spoke directly about fornication. The only part he mentioned was adultery. The woman was accused, and then when you look at a woman, so what exactly is going on? And so we need to define it. Because I'm thinking that fornication is not just about sex, right? Is it?
Well.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should ask you.
Okay.
So.
Big deal now. Finally, Bukola has gotten me in a very, very tight spot. Well, for what it is worth, Jesus may have spoken about adultery. Mm-hmm. Now, he mentioned adultery because the woman in question at that point was married. Okay. All right? Fornication is committed not by two single people. Mm-hmm. Fornication is done by an unmarried person. Okay. Fornication is sexual relations by an unmarried person.
Okay.
While adultery is extramarital sexual relations with anybody.
All right. Okay.
Do you understand? So, two single people who are having sex are committing fornication. Why? Because they are not married.
Okay.
That's fornication.
Okay.
A married man with a single lady having physical sexual relations, the married man is committing what? Adultery. The single person is committing fornication. Adultery and fornication, they mean the same thing. Sex outside marriage.
Oh, basically, okay. I think that just caps it.
I just need to bring that out, and let us just know what the both of them means. It means sex outside marriage. Simple. Sex outside marriage is wrong, no matter how popular it's seemingly become.
Is kissing wrong before or outside marriage?
You know,
I have to ask that. No, there's no.
I once published a magazine, and that was a topic. And then there was this amazing title. Is kissing wrong? I can't remember the title now, but is kissing wrong? Is kissing wrong? All right, so this is it. There's a saying in Yoruba that "Enkota anije akinfiri."
Okay.
Ever you will not eat, there's no need sniffing around it. All right? Because you see, why is anybody trying to separate kissing from? It's a process.
Right.
It's a process
that leads up.
Yeah, it leads up there. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. Once you start, you keep going. I mean, okay. I'd rather not just mention what I actually want to mention, because that's going to cause a whole lot of crisis.
No, please mention it. Feel free.
You don't touch it, because sometimes you start and you say, "Oh, he's kissing," and then the other person wants to go all the way. You were comfortable standing at the edge, but the other person wants to go all the way. You both aggravated it. So if the person goes all the way, somebody's going to call it a 4-letter word that I shouldn't mention it. Go figure.
Right. Okay. So what sort of boundaries should single people set? I mean, I'm in a relationship. We need to mention the fact that it is actually tough.
It is tough.
It is very tough.
It is tough.
Okay,
now, it is tough.
So what kind of boundaries should you set just to ensure that you don't go down that slippery slope?
Bukola, they say when the going gets tough,
The tough
gets going. It would always be tough. The question is, how tough have you become for what would always be tough? I'm going to go back to what I said. Man your gates. It may look to you like morality. Yes. People who try to say, bro, morality is not righteousness. That's not what I'm talking about here. And above all, the Bible says, not by power, not by might, but by the Spirit of God. You're going to consistently pray that God should help you. All right? That God should help you. So let's not miss it out. I'm not saying, oh, you can do this all by yourself. But hey, it's something you have to do.
And at the same time, you can't go and sit there and say, oh, it's just grace, man.
No. So when I say it's not grace, you see, people say grace. Grace opens the heavens for you, and grace activates your responsibilities as a human being as well.
And grace is not going to do.
No, grace is not going to do what you're supposed to do.
You have to do it yourself.
You have to do it yourself.
Okay, so one more thing before I let you go. What kept you going? I mean, you were resolute in your stand. What were those factors that ensure that you stayed true to that resolution?
The Bible says 2 heads are better than one, and then they shall receive a reward for their labor. I don't know if I'm getting that right.
We'll get it.
Yeah. We were in agreement.
Okay.
Oh, believe me, my resolutions grew weak at some point.
Thanks for being honest.
Oh, no, I have to be honest. My resolutions grew weak at some point. Oh, let me be straight. I wanted to have sex with my then girlfriend, who is my wife now.
Hallelujah.
Glory. So, I felt the urge.
Yeah.
I felt the temptation. We had a time that was close, you know. But then that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said, be loud. You see, we both knew that if this thing happens, we have messed up.
Big time.
Big time. So we told ourselves, and then, you know, we started putting restrictions in place. Okay, let's not meet private times. Let's not meet in secret places. You know, let's develop the system of group dates, hanging out in groups, and all of that, all of those things. Then when I personally, because I realized that at some point I was like the dominant person in the relationship. I was dominant, and there was a time it just occurred to me like, okay, if you keep pushing this young lady, she's going to surrender to you. That's the Holy Spirit.
Because of the influence you
Yes, because of
have.
the influence you have on her. She's going to surrender to you, and the blame for this will be on you, not on her. So I sat myself down. Okay, what do I have to do? Control what I was looking at, control what I was expecting, control, you know, what I was seeing, what I was hearing. I controlled it, and God really helped me. And you know, the Bible has several scriptures that would help us. And you see, there are some things that don't wait, don't analyze. When it comes to this abstinence, one thing can help you.
What's
Let
that?
your leg always
Carry you.
get ready to obey your spirit and your head. Run.
And flee, like the Bible puts it.
No, I said run. I would flee. Flee means run as if you are being pursued by danger.
Okay, so run is...
Run, so don't just run. As if you are
being pursued.
So always know when to leave. You are never wrong for leaving.
Okay, I'd like us to touch on the fact that this isn't just about people who have never had sex before. It's okay.
Yes.
I mean, you can start from whatever point you are right now. You've been there before, or you want to make a resolution to now keep it pure and keep... Wait, I almost forgot, sorry. Sexual abstinence is different from purity. I believe so.
Well,
because is it possible to just be abstaining from sex, like you're not doing the real thing, but does that automatically mean that you're sexually pure?
When you say the real thing, pardon me, I'm going to have to be straight. People say the real thing is just penetration and all of those things.
Yes.
Nah, the real thing begins from your mind. It begins from your thoughts. That's where the real thing comes from. That's why Jesus said that you look lustfully upon a woman,
already you have committed the act.
you look lustfully upon another woman. The woman does not even know you looked. Do you understand?
Yeah,
I can look at someone now and they don't even know I'm looking at them. And yet Jesus was pointing it out there that you have committed that sin with the woman in question.
Okay.
So that means you can commit the sin with someone in question and the person will not be guilty. And you are the one that will be guilty.
We are going into another topic entirely. Let's just hang it there. Another quote. Thank you so much. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll play an interesting game. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Still Without Walls, and I still have my very good friend, the loaded brother, ElGee, in the house. And before I let you go, you defined the word woke when we started. You are going to redefine it, and then you are going to give me 5 lines, corresponding 5 lines. Like you're going to do like a rhymes, with that word. That's all. That's all you are going to do. And if you are not able to do it, there's an offering basket somewhere. We're trying to collect funds for the remaining episode. Maybe the Lord will
so
use
we'll
you.
go on a commercial break. So
No, there's no commercial. I'm going to count down and then you're going to, let me tell you again, the word work, 5 lines, you're going to rhymes. You're going to pass a message. Counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me sound like my direction. Action.
Okay. Okay, so woke. Everybody says woke,
like
woke, woke. Don't be so woke that you have to get choked. Yeah. Okay, so woke. And don't be so woke that your wokeness will now make you choke.
Okay.
And then when you choke, you lose all of your control, like you're high on coke. And the truth can't even reach you, not to mention poke. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, just be careful. One man's woke is another man's death. Be careful, don't stay too woke. Ebenezer, this is where God has helped me.
You have tried.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for coming. This episode, I don't know, boys. God bless you. So many quotes. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. This has been quite an eye-opening episode. I hope that you've also learned, contrary to popular opinion, that intimacy can actually be achieved without sex. You've also learned that sexual abstinence is not enough. The sexual purity is the height of it, and that is what is expected. And I hope that you've also learned that it is actually possible to wait until the right time before you give your body to your partner. It can be done, and I'd like to encourage you. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on post notification as well, so that you can be the first to know when we put out new episodes. That will definitely bless you.